Bang, go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the flippingmadeeasy.com studio. It is Sturch. It is Gooch. It is for the first time behind the glass right now. He's sweating his ass off right now. He doesn't know when he's going to make a mistake. First, it is our new intern, A5. Anthony is in the building. Anthony, how we doing over there, bro?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Happy you came back after day one. That's always the worry. Like, he walks out of here and he's just like, fuck them, bro. I can't do this at all. Or not that you couldn't do it, just like I don't want to deal with those guys. Like those guys are just we're high quality
happy
people
bunch over here.
We
have
are
a good time at the Chop Studios.
Yes. So anyway, we're coming to you live from the Cabinet Creation Sports Desk. Haven't said that in a while. I wonder if my uncles even watch the show.
I feel like you say it every time.
Do I? Okay.
Yeah.
Can anyone spare a kicker? Scoop, yes. It is cut down day in the NFL, and the Jaguars are making waves by cutting every kicker known to man. There's a lot to get into. Well, is there a lot to get into today? Not really. But I do want to give a shout out.
Lambo is available
to the podcast. Yeah, that's true. That's so funny. I do want to give a shout out to the podcasts that are now available today. A brand new Fight Factory available now on the podcast network, along with the Jimmy Palumbo show, which had to be re-edited because I didn't listen to it. So I think that's hilarious, by the way. You should have probably left the piss break in.
Yeah, I had to take a piss at around the 50-minute mark. And Jimmy was just like singing Jeopardy. And so that was in there for anybody that listened.
Anybody who got the early Patreon members only get the exclusive. Yes, we'll get into the Yankees. As you can see, I'm wearing my Yankees hat today. Usually around the August level, I switch over to Cowboys, like stuff that I wear. But the Yankees hat is always prevalent in my repertoire and my wardrobe, but I haven't worn it in a couple days. But now I have a reason to, because Gooch was in the house yesterday. Gooch, the rundown. Have at it, my friend.
All right, so I'm not going to talk about the Yankees in the rundown, but I will talk about it at the back end. Well, the rundown was just, maybe I will. Fuck it, right?
Yeah.
So the Yankees beat the Mets last night, and they got to Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer, even though he didn't have his stuff, he still was making some pitches, but Aaron Judge got to him.
Owns him.
And the Yankees played a little bit of small ball. Herman pitched really well, but I just wanted to talk about the atmosphere.
Yes,
I know Rube was in
the
building yesterday. I don't know if Rube, you tried to text me or not, but I have that number. I just don't use it anymore, so I didn't have that number with me. And I hope you didn't text me, actually, because then I feel bad that I ghosted you. But the atmosphere, you could attest to this, the playoff atmosphere in the building yesterday. It was a riot. The let's go Yankees, let's go Mets.
Simultaneous.
Fuck the Yankees, fuck the Mets. It was back and forth and back and forth. A couple of people ran onto the field.
Really?
Yeah, the bleachers. It was pandemonium. From the fourth inning on, nobody was sitting in their seats in the entire fucking place, except for the people behind home plate because they're rich. All right,
and they show up in the second inning, by the way.
Yankees beat the Mets. I said Judge hit number 47. He's now on pace for 61.
That's going in the building tonight. He's going. AJ is going to the game.
Oh, there you go, buddy.
There you go.
Enjoy the hot
Expect the unexpected.
Enjoy the hot L. So
it's not the Grom, right?
The Grom got pushed back. It is Taiwan Walker. He's coming off of a small injury situation. He had back spasms. He missed a start, and now he's coming back. So he has been good. He's typically not a good second half pitcher, but he has been good the last couple of weeks before he had the injury that reared its ugly head. So enough about Major League Baseball.
That was quick.
It is quick. This whole rundown is quick. I just give
the Yankees just beat the Mets. We got to at least stay on this for 10 minutes, maybe 12.
Yeah. I got
to piss off every single.
I didn't hear Aaron Boone's post game, but I'm sure it was lackluster.
I'm sure it was phenomenal, just like everything else he does.
NFL news: the Raiders plan on releasing Kenyon Drake.
Yikes!
And if you want to do me a favor, maybe look up the Raiders depth chart or Dave, because I'm curious to know why they're doing that. I know that there was reports that they like the kid. His name is escaping me, which is why I'm kind of rambling on right now. So these boys
for you to actually say that before in pre, you're like, I got to look up that kid's name, and you never did.
I didn't. I made a coffee instead.
Looks like it's either Brandon Bolden or Zamir White.
It's Zamir White.
Zamir White.
It's not Bolden. Bolden comes over and he's almost guaranteed a roster spot because he's essentially an extension of the
very surprising to me. I mean, Kenyon Drake was a nice supplemental back to have, so it's kind of weird that this
But I would imagine the contract has everything to do with it.
Money.
And if they like the kid that they're paying, I don't know where they got him.
Zamir White's a rookie.
Rookie, like fourth round money. He could have been that high of a draft pick. So his contract isn't exceptionally high. It makes sense. Kenyon Drake, interested to see where he ends up. I'm sure he'll find a home. NFL action last night that went down. There was a preseason football game. It was the Atlanta Falcons against the Jets. Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota managed to put up 275 yards passing combined.
Was Sauce in there?
In the first half.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yes. So they lit it up. The air attack was legit. Kyle Pitts had a 52-yard catch. He looks primed to have a big breakout second season.
I got him in that shitty-ass draft that I was in last night. No, I didn't. I should have, though.
Oh, I was going to say, no, you didn't. Did you?
No, I didn't.
No.
I got Freuermuth.
Nonetheless,
my guy.
Desmond Ridder with a second good preseason showing. I think that you have a little quarterback battle brewing over there. I know that Mariota was brought in to possibly be the starter, but Mariota to me screams career backup, even though when he gets his opportunity, he'll probably be able to help you win a couple games here and there. But Desmond Ridder, I think he looks good. The first game he had the game-winning touchdown. It wasn't the best ball, but he stood in the pocket, showed poise. I like Desmond Ridder. I also have
did they draft Ridder in the first round?
Third, I think.
Okay, so technically he's a project, right? And Mariota was brought over there to be the starter. So it's just like,
yeah,
it just so happens that Ridder is playing very well. But if I'm the Falcons, I'm like, no, Mariota, it's your job to lose. Establish that now.
Of course, it is his job to lose. You're going to make the young kid prove himself a little bit more than a guy that's had at least moderate success in the NFL.
Right. You all right over there?
I was just looking at Rube's comments, see if it was prevalent to what I was saying. But with this quarterback class, I feel like because there wasn't a clear-cut one going super early, everyone kind of fell. On a scale of other previous years, maybe Ridder he might have been picked in the 4th or 5th round, depending. But with this lack of need for a lot of teams and like the understanding that this isn't the greatest class, I feel like the underlying thing in the NFL draft rooms was you could probably wait on quarterback. So him being drafted in the 3rd round doesn't mean he's a project if he could play this season.
Well, Rube's coming in saying Mariota loses his job week 9 or 10. The only thing I could say about Mariota is the fact that it's not like they surrounded him with a good opportunity here. Like Kyle Pitts, yes, year 2, everybody's expecting good things. The running back situation is a little bit of a question mark, even though Cordarrelle Patterson kind of finally found his niche as far as what position the guy's playing. And then they drafted Algier or whatever his name is. But outside of that, after the whatchamacallit, the suspension to Calvin Ridley, when I realized what else you got, and you lose Russell Gage, and it's like, holy hell, like you're not setting up Mariota to succeed over there, meaning it'll be a lot easier to say like, all right, it's Ridder's time, let's go. You know what I mean? Like it's not like Mariota's not you're like, hey, if we want to get back to the promised land, I'm sure we're going to do so by drafting Mariota.
Well, here's the thing.
Signing Mariota, rather.
There's always the unknown when you're talking about young quarterbacks. Look, Tyler Huntley came in and lit the world on fire last year.
And he's doing it again in the preseason this year.
It's not that he's going to be a starter in this league. I'm sure he'll get an opportunity at some point, but
truth.
Ridder could be like good enough to make the Falcons good this year if he's that good. We just don't know yet. I don't think he is, but very similar.
You think he can change like the whole landscape of the Falcons?
Well, just to give an example, and I know that Herbert was picked way higher. He was a 1st round pick, but Justin Herbert didn't beat out Tyrod Taylor his rookie season.
Nah, Tyrod Taylor got stabbed.
And then he got stabbed in the lung with a
punk, like a
hypodermic needle. I'm not sure it was hypodermic, but you get what I'm, Stay away from Keensburg, Taylor.
Jesus Christ. Shout out to Keensburg. Shout out to Rob.
So yeah, I think Desmond Ridder, if there is a chance for Atlanta to have a season this year, it's going to have to be on the heels of Desmond Ridder playing exceptionally well. That's a tall order. I don't know if they're going to let him have the reins early. Like Rube is saying, they'll probably let Mariota get his ass beat back there for a little bit, let him get hurt, and then when he does get hurt, then you bring in the young kid.
Remember all the hype that came out of Mariota for Mariota?
Yeah, and Winston.
Yeah, bro. Oh my God, it's crazy to see that he just didn't pan out as a career backup.
All the time, there's only 32 jobs, right?
Correct.
And there's like 4 or 5 or 6 guys every year that come out that are looking for a starting job. And then you look around and be like, how many jobs actually are there? Because if you look around the NFL, there's plenty of guys that are locked up. There's only about 6 teams that are really like in a bad spot at quarterback where they at least don't have their guy. Whether he's really good or not, like Kirk Cousins, that's their guy. They're not drafting a quarterback early to replace him. So
they also just traded for Nick Mullins. So maybe there is
and there's also
future over there.
It's like the same. I talk about this a lot. It's like when people are naming their top 5s and they name like 11 people. It's like, no. You can only have 5. Same thing with NFL quarterbacks. There's only 32. So
Hey, Ant, just out of curiosity, I know you're a Giants fan, and somehow we've let back-to-back Giant fan interns into this building. I don't know how this all happens, but are you like more or less a realistic Giants fan? Like, do you know you guys think, or like, do you like are you one of those optimistic, we're going to take over the world this year?
Nah, I know we stink, and I know we still have, rebuild to do, but
Good. See, he's realistic.
realistic.
That's good. See, guys like Nick, and no shade thrown at Nick, our audio engineer now. Yeah. No shade there, but he just thinks that their team is just way better.
Yes, with the James Locker comment, that's one of the guys that I point out.
Oh my God,
every single
James
time.
Locker, yeah.
Like he was picked 10th overall. I point that out a lot when I'm talking about this type of situation at quarterback. More don't pan out than do.
Well, we had that whole debate. Like for instance, if you were to look at a guy like RG3, do you think that's a bust of a pick, considering he did change the game for a little bit?
It was a bust of a pick. I think it was a mismanagement of a real serious injury.
Yeah, well, we all know that, but I just when I look at a guy like RG3, he could have been all world. You know what I mean? And he just, yeah, like you said, mismanagement of that. But there he is. There's Nick. Nick saying Daniel Jones will be better this year. Define better. Like not trip over the 20-yard line.
Daniel Jones showed poise the other night. He looked good. I mean, he looked good. What do you want from the guy? Like
what do I want from the guy? To play competent quarterback. But
if he played
for me, what do I actually want?
But here's the thing: if he played competent quarterback, which the other night he did.
Okay, right? Yes. Okay, go on.
Like he's got to do more. I understand he's got to prove it against real defenses, but we'll find out. Look, gotta. He finally doesn't have the excuse of a poor head coach or a poor system, because we know that the head coach has been in a system that's worked. We'll see how his head coaching acumen goes.
Speaking of quarterbacks, you got something Lamar Jackson news too?
Yes. So Lamar Jackson, this is actually broke yesterday, but we missed it. Lamar Jackson is, I don't know if he's making a demand, but he's seeking a fully guaranteed contract.
Not true, Ben.
I don't disagree with him. The way the landscape at the quarterback position is going.
A guy like him in his style, that's a no-no in the front office.
Yeah, but
if this guy's gonna go shifting McShifterson every single game,
fair.
No,
fair.
Like I'm not paying you guaranteed money. At least Watson, and Watson being the piece of shit he is, then if he at least knows how to throw.
Then this goes to the Debo thing.
You want an incentive every time he runs?
No. Well, maybe yes, or B, it's like then don't call the plays. Don't call the run plays if you don't want me to get hurt and you don't want to guarantee. You know, there's like it's a fine line, because you want to do what you can do to win the game as a player, as a coach, as a front office. His propensity to run makes their inherent risk there. It's greater, obviously. So you have to compensate him for that. Like he's also risking it. You know, like he's the one getting injured. That, if he gets hurt and it's not guaranteed, they could just walk away.
Like when you look at like Kirk Cousins, who got the first all guaranteed money, you're looking at Kirk, you're like, all right, well, whatever, man. You're going to be throwing the ball. Like, go for it, kid. You know, give it your all.
Lamar's going to get what he wants.
I don't know about this. I mean, if they cave, and I say this is a cave move by the Baltimore Ravens, if they cave to a guaranteed contract to a guy that literally puts himself out there to potentially get hurt every single snap, that's just a bad.
We have breaking news. KD agrees to stay with the Nets.
So back to Lamar Jackson on things that we will
touch back on that though. Yes,
garbage. Who cares? It's like KD. Anyway, go Knicks. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, like I said, if a guy like Lamar plays the style of football that he plays, the Baltimore Ravens would be absolutely absurd to give him a fully guaranteed contract. That means if he stubs his toe or falls off a bus or whatever the hell he does, it's all money you're getting. Like that's a little. No, I wouldn't do it. Not in his style of play. No way. Do it to another guy, Trevor Lawrence, somebody like that, like down the line when your contract's up and you're not a known scrambler. Like you have the ability to run like a Rodgers, like a Steve Young, like those guys, ability to run the football.
Well, there's also this aspect too. It's a bargaining chip. Maybe he settles for a little bit less than fully guaranteed, but he's going to have to get some type of record deal.
I tell you what. Well, I was just going to say that. What if let's just say arbitrarily he wants $300 million?
He's not going to get that.
What $250 million.
All right, you said arbitrarily.
So I'm just $250 million, right? And they're thinking like $250 million for 8 years, whatever. I'm making up numbers here, so don't look at it like, well, that math doesn't make sense.
A 5-year deal.
Probably. Whatever, 5 years, fine. If he said, I want fully guaranteed, and they came back and said, well, then we'll give you about 3/4 of what we're about to give you, then that makes sense from a business standpoint. Like if they were going to drop his money and make it fully guaranteed, you can go both ways, but you can't Like I said, you can't give him this all-world contract and say, here's every penny. Best of luck to you when you hit the circle button 14 times when you're running. Like, that's not good business. It's not. And don't get me wrong. Everybody likes Lamar in this building. Anybody who's come into this building is like Lamar. I personally think he's not the best thrower of the football. And I've said that. He's a running back, right? But like a running back who can throw sometimes. And sometimes he will drop it in the bucket. I can't knock some of those throws.
He's better than a running back at quarterback, but I get your point.
You understand what I'm saying? The contract is going to dictate what exactly it is. And like you said, much like the Deebo Samuel situation, where there's clauses and there's incentives and there's this and there's that. You can do all that. It's just like, how much fine print are we really dealing with now going forward when it comes to contracts? Like Kyler Murray, like, you got to study. I know that was taken out, but like originally it was in the context of the contract. So like, what are you going to say to Lamar? Like, for every rushing yard you have, you get a nickel. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, there's just different things. This contract is not going to be pretty. And the fact that he's still representing himself, as far as I know, or his mom or whoever is representing Lamar Jackson, you're being foolish now by thinking that you're going to get guaranteed money, because I don't think it's happening.
Oh, no. Rewind to, what's today's date? 8/23/22 at 11:16, and timestamp this when Lamar gets that fully guaranteed contract, and he'd be like, his mom's a good agent, because he's gonna get it.
Listen, if he gets it, then he just did the smartest thing he's ever done.
But if he doesn't get fully guaranteed, him coming out and saying, I want fully guaranteed, that puts the pressure on the Ravens to give him a little bit more.
Right.
I don't think fully guaranteed is a possibility that he doesn't, but I think that it's about 50-50 at this point. I know the Ravens aren't trying to do it, but they're also not trying to let this thing drag out anymore. There is risk because of the injury, but there's a greater risk in losing the quarterback. And just him, like he could just say, fuck you, I'm not doing it. Then they have him. I'm sure
they got what's this guy? The backup was really good. So it's like Lamar Jace who could throw the ball. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't disagree.
I don't. Right. And we watched it. We watched it last year.
But the fans would be up in arms if they let Lamar go, and he'll get paid by somebody else fully guaranteed.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a franchise out there that would fully guarantee a Lamar Jackson-esque player.
You think that
quarterback
Cleveland would do it?
They did it because they based off the fact that, yes, Deshaun Watson has a history of running around too, right? But I feel like even in Deshaun, what the fuck is his name? Watson's last year of active play, he did cut down the running a bit. He was launching them a little bit. What's up?
And I want to see that comment, and you're hovering over it.
From 2016 to 2019, there were 19 quarterbacks with sub 200 yards rushing yards a season, and 19 quarterbacks with over 200. 16 season-ending injuries from non-mobile quarterbacks, 9 season-ending injuries from mobile quarterbacks. So he's basically saying that mobile quarterbacks get hurt less.
He's basically saying that, yes.
Okay, so realistically, you are avoiding contact when you're a quarterback. You used to make fun of me when I used to play in like middle school and run out of bounds. Like, Dave, did you really run out of bounds in street football? Like, I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to get hit. So it's like, I understand. So it's like,
there's a shred of their ability to not get hit clean helps.
But their mobility, they're using all the CLs.
Like
ACL, the PCL, the MCL.
If you're sitting in the pocket and you're about to get blasted by somebody and you could get out of the way, you're not going to get hit. So
I get what you're saying. I just think it's a bigger risk for the Ravens.
I would like to look a little deeper into that. That is an interesting stat, Rube. Thank you for that, because it does
interesting.
It does kind of throw a monkey wrench in the entire idea that running quarterbacks get hurt way more often. And I think really what it comes down to is a size thing too. With some of these guys, they're just too small.
We got an Angelo. Is that a relative there, Ant?
Yeah, that's my little cousin.
All right. What do you think about Anthony Brown? He sucks. No, I'm kidding. Is he a Cowboy fan?
No, he's a Jets fan.
So what's he talking about Anthony Brown
this
for?
Is a fantasy football question, possibly.
Anthony Brown, he's a corner.
Oh shit! I'm thinking about the Brian Robinson.
Unless there's an Anthony Brown on.
Yeah, he's talking about the Ravens' third-string quarterback, Anthony Brown Jr. from Oregon.
Oh,
well,
that's corrected.
I'll tell you what.
Little cuz, you just put me on the spot. Congratulations.
I don't think about him.
What do you think? I just don't. Actually, I don't.
Not by choice. I just don't know who he is. But that's my fault.
He says Anthony Brown. I'm like, oh, you mean corner 2 for the Dallas Cowboys?
That's very generic. Could you elaborate?
Yeah. Oh, Anthony Brown.
I'm thinking it was Brian Robinson, the running back from the Commanders.
Yeah. Well, which, by the way, I was like, we'll talk about the Commanders in a little bit, but it's funny. I was writing his name down before, and I'm like, wow, man, Brian Mitchell's son. And I was like, wait, what? It's
It's not.
I don't smoke. I don't understand how my brain works sometimes, and it's definitely not Brian Mitchell's son. Considering
so he's a
he's
local
Brian
kid,
Robinson.
That's what it is. He's the local kid, and that's why
Matter day. Okay,
that's why people are asking about him. Okay.
Well, he might not make the team.
So now
it is cut down day.
So now I actually apologize because I do know who he is because
Yeah, he's
there was
from
like
Mattawa.
he's from Mattawa.
There was
Yeah.
like a slight
Getting involved.
There
here.
was like a slight possible weird maybe NIL thing, but then I was like, but he was like, no.
He's like, actually,
He's
Nike
like,
hit me
"No,
up,
I'm
so I'm
good."
good.
I'm actually playing at Nike University at Oregon, so
Perfect.
no NIL with Chop.
Yeah, so Anthony Brown's going to start for Baltimore in 2 years when Lamar skips town, says I'm done. But anyway, enough of Lamar Jackson. So you want to touch on KD real quick with that? I mean, like, I know a lot of people are coming in real quick.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess this is big news considering again, bro. Is he not under contract?
Yeah.
So stop with the I agree to
stop.
stay.
This is the NBA,
Play
Dave.
your contract
Dave,
out, clown.
Dave, stop it.
It's a
Stop
clown
it.
show,
Stop it.
bro.
Stop it.
I
Stop
agree
it.
to play
Stop
with
it.
I agree to play
Stop
to
it.
the contract I signed.
Stop
You
it.
asshole.
Stop it. It's the NBA. These things
kidding,
are
bro.
these contracts in terms of star players are concerned are a figment of your imagination. They do not exist.
Yes, it's a player-driven
They
league.
exist
We
as
get
long
it.
as they want them to, and then they move on. And that's just the way it's been
Ugh.
working for quite some time
Back
now.
in my day, which by the way,
Quite
I'm
some
younger than
time
him.
now. And look, I didn't necessarily predict it because I didn't. I was saying, like, don't be surprised if KD is on the Nets when season opens up, even if they do plan to move him. It's because why rush? He's under contract. They necessarily hold the chips, and you got to wait for the best deal. That deal doesn't seem to be coming because he's
Or the
staying.
Nets were getting a little too greedy.
Now, my next question is:
if they wanted to move on from the player, they would have done it
my
already.
next question is: when does Steve Nash get fired, and when does
Tomorrow.
when does Ben Simmons' headaches start back up again? Because
Tomorrow.
he's got a superstar that he's got to answer to on his
now,
team now.
yeah. And what isn't Kyrie staying too?
Kyrie,
Oh, so the scary hours are back. Here comes Net Nation.
Are we really gonna even pretend like we know what Kyrie's gonna do?
No,
I guess we'll find out.
Kyrie's gonna
around
spin right off this
Halloween.
planet.
But I mean, I'm slowly becoming more of a fan of Kyrie because he just doesn't care, and like I like people
I
that
get
don't
it.
care.
Easy scoop. Easy with the Dane Cook references. We don't want to set off homeboy over here to my right.
No, I'm good. Me and Dane Cook squashed the beef.
Oh, you did? You talked to him? All right. Anyway, I do want to let everybody know. There it is. We can't spin off the earth because it's flat. Scoop, please shut your mouth. I do want to let everybody know that
Still
this,
can, though, Scoop.
this podcast and show is being brought to you in part by the Fusco Insurance Agency. Are you worried that you're going to run out of money in retirement? Well, stop worrying. Start planning. Michael Fusco can help. Michael Fusco will be in the building next Tuesday. He's coming in. He wants to check out the facility. He wants to also know will your family be okay? Well, guess what? Stop worrying. Start planning. Said that already. Fusco can help. As president of the Fusco Insurance Agency, Michael can work with you to create a comprehensive retirement plan. He'll explore using all those life annuities and insurance to build you a more secure future right now, so you can worry a little secure future then, so you can worry a little bit. I'm reading this thing. That's the problem. I've seen this 1,000 times and I still can't get it.
Yabba dabba doo.
It's really ridiculous. Call 718-701-5787 to schedule your complimentary consultation. That's consultation in Italian. You feel me, Anthony, on that one?
Oh, yeah.
Consultation. I have a fellow Paisan in the building as well. Schedule your complimentary consultation, 718-701-5787. Guarantees and protections are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company. Some insurance policies are not available in all states. He's also offering financing and everything like that. 350 FICO score or higher. You can start financing anything from $300 to above. PrestigeTaxFinancing.com. Fuck that one up too. Love you to death, Fusco. Thank you so much for all of your support. And also a big shout out to guys like Glenn over at Dat Chat, one of our good friends who is creating a monster social media platform, which, by the way, I tend to listen to Gary Vee on my way here sometimes, just as business, just get excited, get jazzed up about what I should be doing today to greater the good of Chop Sports. He said you got to post 12 pieces of content a day.
Gary V's got his head stuffed up his ass with that one.
Well, that, and he has a whole team. So it's
just
I'm only one man.
Stop,
All right. But shout out to guys like Glenn over at Dat Chat who are building their
Gary
own brand.
You're gonna ruin my life with that type of information.
I'm gonna go running into just high strung, and I'm not even doing the coffee anymore. I just refuse to do that. But
Yeah.
anyway, we also want to talk to you guys about a little thing called Manscaped and a little thing called your Grundle.
Yes. So if you have hairy nuts. You're
Yikes.
completely doing it all wrong. And you need to head on over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code ShopSports. You get 20% off your entire order. Look for the Performance Package 4.0. It has the lawnmower, also 4.0, with a 400K LED light and a porcelain trimmer that kisses your butthole ever so gently.
Okay.
You want to serve up that
We
nice,
got
smooth,
Anthony's
clean
family listening in right
butt
now.
crack
This is going to be
snap.
even better.
The summer's almost over, but the grundle is still in full effect. So handle that,
Yikes.
boys, and head on over to manscaped.com. Promo code ShopSports. Back to you, Dave.
I've been feeling the brisk air a couple mornings. I can't wait for the fall. I'm done with the summer. The
Soup
only thing that I
season,
lose when it's fall is the tan, and I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. I'll just match my pasty friend Chris over here.
We got football season.
Yes,
we got
baseball
hoodie
playoffs,
season.
hoodie season.
We
You're
got
wearing a
pennant
hoodie.
race. We got
My sweat is sweating usually in the
season.
studio.
Soup season for all my soupies out there. We'll call them soupies.
Oh no, you
right?
didn't just do that.
I'll eat 2 cups of soup a day for the rest of my life
Soup?
and love it, bro. Soup is the best food on earth.
I agree. I'm a soupy.
Oh,
He's a soupy.
first of all, this is a thing. Soupy.
I don't know if it's an actual thing.
Well,
but
now you just made it a thing.
is now.
Hashtag
It is.
soupy.
Soupies.
Yeah, you're a soupy. You know the shit I used to have, because you know I don't eat meat. And anybody out there
Ramen?
breaking news? No, ramen's good. Salty is all shit. You wind up, you can't like put any rings on your fingers after that. You are salted the fuck up after that. But I will say that I used to eat Lipton.
Giggle soup.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's what they used to have, like the little smileys in there, the giggle soup.
Well, it used to say
Lipton
chicken broth.
You are no noodles.
No noodles, yeah, but like
Fuck.
not chicken. Like if there was chicken in my soup, I'd be very upset. Because I
Soup
would.
season, that is not considered a soup, by the way. That is definitely not a soup. And you should be careful because the fellow vegans,
Casey coming.
all
Where
your
my
fellow
soupies at?
vegans, the fellow vegans out there are going to be on you for this one, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
Your
The soupy
vegetables
community is going to
carrying.
ruin me. Hawaii is dominating in the Little League World Series, by the way. Pretty sure everyone's 18. He's got documentation. I am 12.
Yeah, like I feel like
Bro,
Hawaii,
did you see the one kid with the mustache?
he's like
He's
like
like
Zach
34.
Wilson's dad. He's no way younger than Zach Wilson. Not a
Zero
fucking
chance. Zero chance. All right. So the premise of today's show.
He just signed with the Twins, that kid.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He's got a minor league deal. But wait, you're in game 2 of the Little League World Series in Williamsport. Like, I'm 12. I don't know what you're talking about.
See.
Right? Well, all of a sudden you don't speak English, kid? What's happening here? Anyway, it is Washington Commanders Day. See, once upon a time, ladies and gentlemen, there was a sports media company that just discovered some certain really, really cool things.
Chop Sports Media.
Chop Sports Media. Which you can hear in the broadcast in the intro every day. Not this intro, the podcast intro, which, by the way, Nick is working hard on the sound engineering and putting our podcast out. So if you miss any of this and you don't have the visual effect, you can listen to this on a podcast. Imagine that. But anyway, it was one of our current investors who might have slipped us some information. And I said, well, this is on my desk. So what am I supposed to do with this? I can either bury it and never do it again and never talk about it again and say, like, if we're wrong, we're dead in the water, because we were brand new when this was, well, not brand new, but like we were into, it was February of this year, where the Washington Commanders, or the football team, were about to name their team. And before they can do it, yours truly over here released it before that, because we got information, some intel that we had their logos and everything. And then on decision day, like it's a fucking it's anything else. Then we saw there was like choppers. Remember that? They had like the choppers like zoom in on the team store and shit. You talk about a team that is so poverty that it can't even keep a secret. It's so bad. But anyway, we'll talk about those Washington Commanders because they come into the season with a massive 7.5 over under. Get out of my face with that. They went 7-10 last year. Considering the fact that they had Tyler Haneke playing, they had Fitzpatrick get hurt really early. So now I'm going to use the biggest air quotes I could possibly use. They upgraded by getting Carson Wentz. We'll talk about that. But the guys that walked out of town, Brandon Scherf, the right guard. Matt Ioannidis is out of there too, defensive line. John Bostic, their linebacker, gone. Seals Jones goes to the Giants. Nobody really cares because he hasn't done anything yet. DeAndre Carter. They lost Kyle Allen. Another quarterback in the room that's gone. Their additions, I would say Andrew Norrell, Justin Hamilton, defensive line from Denver, and of course Carson Wentz. Before I get into all of this, and their draft was rather good, actually. So I'm not going to knock them completely. Jahan Dotson, they traded back and still landed Dotson. So that's a big get. I think he's going to be pretty good. Phil Mathis, the defensive tackle, when we talk about the defensive line, it
Is that his name, Phil?
It's not. It's his nickname is Phil.
Oh, it's Fidarian.
Yeah, well, it's Phil.
Phil.
It's Phil. It's Phil to the common man. Anyway, so and then they also draft Brian Robinson Jr., who we were talking about before, who was technically touted as the third best running back in the draft, and they got him in the third round. So that's a good thing. And what we've been seeing and what Gooch said yesterday was that there was a little bit of a controversy coming or a sway of position.
He's definitely going to get some.
He's going to get some reps.
He may have standalone value this year in fantasy, not just a handcuff to Antonio Gibson, and it might happen soon.
Interesting. But I have to ask the age-old question to you, Gooch, before we get into the entire team, the depth chart. Gun to your head, since there's guns to everybody's heads lately. What are your thoughts? I got to know, because I know mine. Well, how do you feel about Carson Wentz, like overall?
I feel like he's an upgrade for the time that they'll have him. He did manage to stay relatively healthy, even though he started last season with 2 bum ankles on, that was another anomaly that I don't know how that happened, but he's better than what they've had. I could see an improvement for them because they're going to get Chase Young back, but Carson Wentz isn't going to be the real reason why they improve. I think it's going to be the defense, and their offensive line is really good. So
offensive line is filled with a bunch of guys I've never heard of, and they're the 12th ranked offensive line. So clearly they're doing something right, building from within. I will say, and I have to point this out, that the Washington Commanders re-signed 16 of their potential free agents. So they're building something and they're bringing their boys back. So let it be built, sort of, or they're trying to build it. They got Wentz, Tyler Haneke.
Yeah, there's continuity there. The only newbie is Wentz, really.
Yeah, Sam Howell was drafted. Antonio Gibson Robinson, we just talked about. Their receiving core would be Scary Terry, right? Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, which nice little, what do you call them? A Swiss Army knife, right? He's got all that. And then, of course, Jahad Dotson. So that's a nice little trilogy.
I think they lack a try size.
Yeah, they got speed. Don't get me wrong. They do got speed. Logan Thomas, often injured Logan Thomas, but he's actually a really good
Commander
athlete.
Carson in here.
Yeah, he's here.
Wentz for life.
Oh, there he is. Commander Carson. Thank you again for your service, my friend. As we go over your pivotal poverty watching the Commanders. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding at all. Defensive line, though, I will give him that. Defensive line is a scary bunch. It is Chase Young coming back. It is Daron Payne. It is Jonathan Allen. It is Montez Sweat. What?
Chase Young placed on reserve pup. He will be out the first 4 games minimum. Just came out. So,
well, honestly, they can weather that storm because, like I just said, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat, they still have a defensive line, and then they get an addition 5 weeks into the season. That's big, though. Did the Cowboys play? They do. They play in week 4. No, thank God. Anyway, so keep my quarterback upright. Going over their schedule now. I've been critically hard on most teams, and I have been until Thursday when we talked about the Cowboys and they don't lose any games.
Pretty sure you had the Jets at like 6-1.
I had the Jets starting 5-0, right? So I'm not I'm critical where I need to be critical, and then there's teams like the Jets who I think might break out. But I also made that conversation. That conversation happened when Zach Wilson was upright. Just so everybody's clear, I said that the Jets would do this with Zach Wilson.
I do not care.
Quarterback.
Want to know why?
Because it's not going to happen.
No. Because I also made the prediction last year that the Commanders would win 12 games when they had Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I didn't hear the end of it. And he was
so are you saying this is in your holster now forever?
So yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
5-1 Jets. When they're 1-5, then I'm gonna be like, Dave.
That's fine. I'm cool with it. Fine. But their schedule is relatively. If this was any other team, I'd say it'd be favorable. But because it's the Commanders, I don't think it's that favorable. I don't think they win week 1. They're hosting the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are going to come out like a ball of fire, and I think they're going to win that game. I don't think they beat Detroit in Detroit. That's 2. Philly, not doing that. You're not going to Dallas and winning, especially not without Chase Young. So now all of a sudden you're 0-4. Okay. Then now, oops, you're 0-5. Tennessee. Like, where's the win? There it comes. In Chicago. You'll get your first win in Chicago. Maybe.
Chicago's going to lose to everybody. Every time the Chicago's going to be you get your win there. It's like Chicago's going to win games.
Yeah, we covered the Bears, and we did give them a couple wins. Maybe this is one of them. Then they got the Packers. It's a big fat L, right? And then you got the Colts, the revenge game. So who gets the better of that? It's Carson Wentz making his return to the team that
Rashawn Gary is going to probably put Wentz out for that game. So
it's
no
rough.
revenge game. Sorry, Carson. You're not going to make it.
Yeah, you're not going to make that at all. I hope they lose 17 games to Washington Commanders. Well, that's the Bears. The Bears just what?
He's a Bears fan.
I know. He wants to go.
He understands the dynamic of the season they're going into right now. Listen, and that's smart.
Little by little. Like I went into that bad draft last night. with a lot of, I'm not going to call them uneducated. I'm just going to say underprepared people. But a lot like the one main rule, like don't draft
stupid people. That's what he meant to say. No,
don't draft any Bears. And I'm like, well, I got Mooney in my league, and then Montgomery is going to get drafted, and like I know we're segueing off the Washington Commanders for a second, but like then I'm like, is Justin Fields going to be like pitiful? No, I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know now. Now I'm not off.
He's gonna have some splash plays, but that's a tough situation for him.
When the hell do they get their next win? For him. The Commanders, maybe week 9. Give me a win against the Vikings. Maybe it's home. 10 at Philly. Forget it. Then they go on a 2-game winning streak, and people get really excited here. They'll beat Houston at Houston, and then they'll beat the Atlanta Falcons. That's how they'll do it. And then they'll lose to the New York Giants. There you go. Shout out to you, Ant. You'll lose to the Giants. Anyway, truth be told, the schedule's not very favorable when you're the Washington Commanders. I got them. Now, Vegas has them at 7.5. I don't really see that at all. I have them scratching the surface at 5 to 6. You want to give me a 7th, you're still on the under. If you want to do the same thing you did last year at 7 and 10, you're still the same record as you were last year. Gooch, do you live in a world where you can see them winning 8 games?
I don't think they're gonna, but yeah, there's gonna be some games like Jacksonville could suck bad this year. We expect them to improve. We expect Detroit to take another step forward, but these are teams that typically have taken maybe a step here or there, and then the following season crumble again. So I need to see a little consistency out of them before I'm just gonna anoint them as tough games. I believe that they will be tough games, but it might not be week 1 and 2 because they have some work to do as well over there on both those teams. There's a lot of teams in the NFL right now that you just don't know about. Up top, there's a lot of turnover at the front. So Washington, and the division that they're in, even Philly, who I feel like Philly is going into this with a little bit of hype. Is Philly that team? We're going to find out. There's a lot of things that need to shake out. I don't think the football team is really, or the Commanders are really.
Right. You finally got used to one thing, and now they're going to switch over another one. I don't think
the Commanders
just go back to the Redskins and call it a day.
They don't have much to offer on offense because of Carson Wentz. But Carson Wentz really, I feel like we're not giving him enough credit, if that makes sense. Like
but where has he earned the credit? That one season where he was almost MVP and then got hurt? Is that where we're going to go back? We got to go back like 4 years.
We're not looking at like Carson Wentz as opposed to like elite quarterbacks. We're looking at Carson Wentz as opposed to Taylor Heineke. We're looking at Carson Wentz as opposed to.
I'm not sold that he's better than Heineke, bro.
Yeah, but you're not sold. But every single guy that gets paid to scout NFL quarterbacks is. Carson Wentz is definitely better than Taylor Heineke. If
Carson's coming and saying 7 and 10, so he thinks the under.
Carson Wentz comes out and he makes bad plays in like the worst
bonehead decision making.
But if you could just eliminate that, he plays well. Like he's not just throwing the ball all over the field. It's just certain big spots he shrinks in them.
But I ask you this now.
They're not going to win the Super Bowl.
He goes from Indy
or make the playoffs.
Right. He goes from Indy to Washington. Did he upgrade his talent around him? I say not even close. So now you're expecting a whole lot more out of a guy who couldn't win with better talent.
I'm not necessarily expecting more out of Wentz than I got from him last year, even though Carson Wentz counting stats last year, they weren't bad.
They lost to the Jaguars.
Understood.
To not make the playoffs.
That's more like a Colts thing in general. Blame Peyton Manning for that because that's how far that's been happening. They couldn't win there ever. So I'm not gonna drag Wentz for that. It was bad though.
Drag him.
It was bad. He's better than Taylor Heineke. I could see them improving on that because they will get Chase Young back at some point. Other than that, there's like only a little bit of additions to that team. It's not like they lost anybody. So if they were a 7-win team last year, and don't forget, like I did think that this roster that they have here was good enough to win 12 games. So I feel like they do have players. 2 years ago, they were a playoff team. Granted, it was one of those situations where you sneak in because your division's bad.
Oh, when the Eagles decided to fuck it all up. I will say this. Right now, as it stands, according to overthecap.com, the Washington Commanders are sitting there with $13.3 million in cap space. Find me a franchise that has all that cap space and thinks that we're all set. Like they're not all set. They have a lot of holes. Like why aren't you looking at around the and what is it like Daniel Snyder's legal fees? You know what I'm saying?
No,
like this is a piss poor franchise that might just explode.
13 million in cap room. I have to look at their actual roster and see who's due to come up big in a little bit. They had to get rid of the Terry McLaurin situation. I don't know what
Rob's
their
asking
situation
you if Terry McLaurin's the best receiver he's had in his career.
Yeah.
Who do you have in Philly?
Nobody.
Never?
No.
Never had anybody?
Like
Alshon
Jeffrey.
No.
And they had last year.
Last year you had Michael Pittman Jr.?
McLaurin's better than him.
All right, I'll concede on that one. That's not.
But it could be that could switch right now. That could switch this year. I'm just saying, like I would say up to this point, Terry McLaurin's done more in the league.
I think you want to talk about stats. I think Pittman might have a better stat year than McLaurin.
Very well,
because of the quarterback play.
Very well
Matt
could.
Ryan could still sling it. He will. Don't want to give him long-term deals. Get Wentz off the books. Wentz just keeps going up too, Rube. Like I looked at his contract, and this year is a $20 million hit. Next year is a $26 million hit. Like you got to right next year, 2023,
like
they go from 13 to $1 million in cap space
hit,
next year.
Cap hit, but what if they cut him?
That's a dead cap money. That's another ballgame.
Yeah, so if like they might be able to
I'm curious
realistically
now,
get
actually.
off
I'm
the
gonna look
hook
that
on
up.
Wentz after this season if it doesn't work out.
They would.
language of the deal.
Dude, you think that would actually happen? You think they would get rid of Wentz after 1 year? I know the Colts did it, but like, is that a trend?
Yeah, if you're based off of where they're going to be in the draft, and there's some quarterback prospects out there for sure.
Wentz's contract right now. Oof. All right. 2023, 2024, not guaranteed. No cap hit whatsoever.
So he's off the books after this year. That's
if
actually,
he doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
What is it, Sam Howell?
well, not necessarily.
or he
It
doesn't
could-
exist yet?
It could be a guy that's in the
He doesn't
in the
exist yet.
college ranks
Okay.
right now.
So yeah, but anyway, just so you know, this
Could be
year's
Tyler Huntley.
This
Could
year's
be-
28, next year's 26, the following year's 27. Yeah, there's no way. Unless he wins the division and turns this entire franchise around this year, he's not there. He is a forever. I don't know how to consider this guy at this point. He is not the guy. Not that guy, pal. He's not that guy. Sorry, Carson. Sorry, Commander Carson. Sorry, all you Carsons out there. Anybody named Carson, I'm sorry. Carson Daly.
Commander Carson.
I just said that.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying to you. That's the Reds. Commanders.
That's the Commanders.
So
So we got anything else bullshit we could bullshit about right now?
Can we
Let me
bullshit?
bust
Is
out
that-
my trusty
Can we talk about my
fantasy
shitty ass draft? Actually, you know what's funny? I did want to say one thing. I did write down bad fantasy draft. We were talking about the Oregon Trail right before we started the show, which, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony A5 is 21 years old, so he has no idea what the fuck the Oregon Trail was. We started talking to him about it, and I saw somebody, I forget whose story it was on Instagram. It was like, all you kids with your Black Ops and your Fortnites, like try crossing the Kansas River with one bad wheel or some shit. And I'm like, oh wow, Oregon Trail.
and dysentery.
Yes, and snake bites and all this other shit. That was the hardcore shit. That is when the life started teaching you lessons.
Bro,
that
you had
your
to- you had to
family
bury
can
your
get
brother.
derailed.
You had to bury your brother on the trail because he got attacked by wild Indians. Like
Remember-
that's third grade computer class.
Right.
That's what I was sitting in.
And how about the line that was
Miss
formed
Buggy.
to play this?
Anybody
thing?
remember Miss Buggy? All my Colonia heads. I was sitting in Miss
I had
Buggy's
Miss Silver,
class.
who, by the
That
way,
might
is
have been
still
middle
alive.
school, by the way.
I thought for sure Miss Silver was gone. She was old as fuck when I was in third grade. She's still kicking.
Okay,
Good for her.
Rob, thank you for that. The
What?
Browns haven't let Jacoby Brissett take a snap yet in the preseason.
What?
Deshaun Watson really needs that work.
Done
For
done,
week 12.
Done. It's like Mrs. Buggy called Bobby Earps is coming
Mrs.
in.
Buggy, yeah.
There it
that-
is.
She was the,
Is Dave's bad draft the team where he took Zeke in round 2? No,
yes,
asshole.
that is
First
the
of
bad
all,
draft.
I took Zeke again yesterday, but in round 4. So that gives you an idea
Now we're getting
that I
somewhere.
stretched for Zeke in round 2 of my draft.
That's the only time
Yes.
Dave has stretched in the last 6 months, I promise.
I stretched today. Actually, I do not stretch. I still continue to lift weights and not stretch. I do like a couple like third grade arm circles. I'm just like, I'm good. Let's go. And just lift weights. That's so dumb of me. That's why I'm always sore. Let's see. Talk about my man Huntley going 29 for 32 this preseason. I'm more excited about the fact that you won 22 straight preseason games. That doesn't matter or worth the shit, but it's still fun. Like that's still fun
honestly,
to watch.
I agree with Rube on this. Would you consider Brissett a starter that doesn't need work at this
Okay,
point into a
so
new situation?
here's
I
a
don't want
topic.
any of my starters playing.
Well, you brought up the topic I was just going to say. He doesn't want any starters playing in the preseason. When do we get rid of preseason? Because never, because it's a generating revenue monster. People are still going to watch the Giants
Well,
8-string
it's
people
also- it's
go play in
also-
the Meadowlands.
It's also guys earning spots on the roster. Like it's important for those guys, but I don't need to see Jordy Nelson tear his ACL on the third play of the first series.
He's scarred. You see that?
Of course, I'm scarred.
Yeah.
And anybody that has
Romo broke his back.
Bro, and is there anybody that's lost a star player on a potential, Super Bowl contending team going into the season where it just takes the wind out of your sail a little bit in a preseason game? It's unnecessary for the stars to be playing in these, or established vets. No way. Guys that want to earn a roster spot, make special teams. And I also think that they should stop doing the games with a clock and shit like that. Like, just say, you know what, we're gonna get
how about a bunch of joint practices then?
Look, the way you run a scrimmage, if you're in high school football or if you're an inter-squad scrimmage at Rutgers, and they just kind of like start at the 20, like we're going to get work in situational football, basically an inter-squad practice. Yes, you're right.
So basically, but make it a fan experience where you can go
a little more buttoned up.
I
think it will be a better situation for the players.
Anyway, Ben asking about this bad draft that I had. I didn't have a bad draft. Okay, the draft was bad, meaning like everybody around me was bad. It's basically a charity at this point. I'm taking everybody's money because of the good draft that I had because of everybody else's bad draft. That's what I meant by bad draft. Anyway, let's see. If the Bears were good and Fields tore his ACL in a preseason game, I'd be fucking burned down Soldier Field. First of all, I think Soldier Field's burning itself down. In any event, new stadium looks great though, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I get that part. I guess because of what I've watched already in the preseason, and that's like I said it on my podcast on Blogging the Boys the other day, and I said, look, the fact that I'm watching Josh Allen throw a touchdown pass and the fact that I'm watching Patrick Mahomes do his sidearm thing in the preseason, like why does Dak get a pass? And I can understand last year coming off the foot, right? But it's like you need reps too, bro. No, like no. Okay, you say no. See,
no.
I know he's getting a lot of work into practice and shit, and that's fine. But it's just like I don't know at what point. If that's the case, then why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Why are we doing it?
I'm going to explain to you.
Well, you already said the revenue and shit.
And yeah, it's like money.
Yeah, no, I get it. TV ratings,
season ticket holders have to pay for preseason games. Do you understand that? Right? Like, so if you're a season ticket holder,
team, Dave. Oh, okay, you got it, bro. You got ask and you shall receive.
Before Dave says his team, I wanted to ask the listeners. There was people that signed up yesterday to this chop league, and I know one of them was Bailey in the room, and I know the other one was Jack and Bailey. I just want to know if there was anybody else. There was anybody else that put their name into the hat here for this big chop fantasy football league that I didn't get written down because I'm about to do some type of draft orders and league selections and things like that this afternoon, and I need people to reach out to me.
All right, ASAP. So Rube, I'll preface this by saying I punted on quarterback, and I know a lot of guys are okay with that. So I didn't take a quarterback till like the 14th round. But anyway, here's my starting lineup right now, but my bench is where it gets really good. Okay. Trey Lance is my starting quarterback in hopes that he just lights the world on fire. If he doesn't, I'm sure I can stream somebody. I actually drafted Jameis Winston in like the 15th round. And I was like, I can do this in case I need it. Right. Najee Harris at the 9th overall pick, which he fell to me. He didn't do that in my draft at my house. That sucked. But Najee Harris was with me. Deebo Samuel, Ezekiel Elliott, DJ Moore, Pat Freiermuth, Amon St. Brown, Gabe Davis, 2 flex league, by the way. Never played in the 2 flex league. So that's new for me. The bench, A.J. Dillon, Rashad Bateman, Kenneth Walker, George Pickens, Jameis Winston, Alec Pierce, Irv Smith Jr., and your boy Christian Watson from Green Bay. Show me the hole. Besides, I know you guys are like,
Trey Lance. Well, Zeke may be a hole.
Yeah, but
not
look
really
what I got behind him
if
I need it.
You're all right. I think that at first glance, Trey Lance is the hole.
Good team, Dave.
But I think
hold on, stop the press. I got positivity coming from Rube here. Mark this down, timestamp this bitch. I'm cutting this up and posting it. Thank you, Rube. Thank you.
Yeah,
bring up that comment.
And Trey Lance will be making you dance. Trey Lance will outscore Dak in fantasy this year. That's my prediction. And that's not a bold prediction.
Now you're just talking silly.
Oh, no, I'm not.
No, you're not. I mean, look.
Jalen Hurts did last year.
I know.
So it's like you don't have to.
It's possible, yeah.
And
if I have my way, Zeke will be running the ball a lot. So then, yes, he'll take a little bit of a beat down in.
Yeah, I have Lance high. He's vaulting up. Ever since I pulled that glitter helmet, I was just like, God damn it.
Oh, my God, it's glittery. You
glitter
see this
everywhere.
Shit? Yeah, Rob. We see that shit. Oh, my God. So that's my team. I hope everybody's had a great day, and I hope everybody enjoys this coverage. Is Danny DeJesus really coming in tomorrow?
I'll hit him up.
Do you have to?
Yes. Yes.
Want to sit him right in the middle so he's like awkward like Scoop?
No, he's got he has like a form of awake apnea where you'll just hear him. No, I'm kidding. Danny breathes just fine. He's not Tommy.
Oh my God. Oh, Rob, Bobby said text him. Didn't you say you texted him?
I did text you, but we have other things to talk about anyway. And I tagged Bobby in the Facebook post but he ghosted me on that, which is
Wow.
fine. I'm kidding. It wasn't a ghost. It's Bobby had a busy weekend. Shout out to Bobby and Endless Landscaping. They're on board with Chop Sports and Chop Studios. And look, there's this big survivor pool out there.
Huge.
I'm going to make a post. Last year, I believe the winner took home like $65K. It's a big one. We're in partnership with Endless Landscaping, and we're going to be doing some things for them as we do local events. And I will put out the post today or tomorrow, depending on when me and Bobby connect, because I want to go over a few things. But be on the lookout for a huge survivor pool.
Huge.
And look, I've been in this pool about 5, 6, 7 years running right now.
Did you ever win it?
No, I came close to the money once, but I believe it was the Dolphins beating the Colts or something weird when they had no wins and they won. Shitty way to go out. But nonetheless, it's definitely like a buttoned up thing. And $65K last year, and it's growing. So I would definitely
almost
get
as
involved
much
in
as
that.
Rube made in daily fantasy.
It's a lot of fun. They run it on runyourpool.com, so everything is done for you. You get to see everyone's picks after picks are submitted or after
No,
kickoff.
Scoop, you're actually
So,
that's not happening.
yeah, Scoop. We got to talk about that because we're
we're now partnering with Bobby for his massive.
We'll talk. We got to figure it out.
Okay, we'll talk. In any event, Bailey coming in saying he traded the first for Trey Lance on Sunday. So
Well, I would imagine that this is a keeper league.
well, that's why he has any kind of stock. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Well, meaning like a first, really like your first pick after guys were retained. Has to be
Truth. All right. That'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to congratulate Anthony for making it through and chiming in from time. How'd you have a good time, bro?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You can fit. You feel like you could fit in right here in the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday roll.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All
There
right,
we go.
cool. Nick
Happy to
Saban,
have you, buddy.
wait, hold on. Right? Just was Nick Saban just got paid $93.6 million, 8-year contract for Alabama.
Money well spent.
You sick bastard for doing that. My
What did you expect
God.
it to be?
I mean, with this NIL thing, these players better start getting salaries at this point. Like Nick Saban
No,
is
they
a
do.
no, I mean like a real salary. I think Miami like loosely tried to pay their players like $500 a week or some shit like that. But like this,
It was
come on,
Dan Lambert.
the owner of Top Team, he was paying the Miami players. Well, I met him. He's
Yeah.
really
Yeah, he's like a big
Wow.
booster for them over there.
booster. We'll call him Booster.
Booster.
So anyway,
Boosting.
congrats on
pockets.
Anthony on his first day. He'll be back tomorrow in studio along with Sturch and Gooch. Congrats to Nick Saban. If you're looking for a sports media company to invest in, holler at your boys, chopsportsmedia.com. Launching on 9/1. Well, it's already launched, but relaunching in 9/1. Keep your, I guess, keep your eyes open for that. And of
look
course,
for us on October 1st at Madawan. Day.
Madawan Day.
No, that's gonna be
also,
fun.
I have to say this. I haven't made a post about it yet. Shockingly, I know. But myself and Gooch have been asked to be guest speakers at Montclair State University at the end of October. Who would have thought? You talk about living the dream right now. We're being asked to go into a college and mold young minds and tell them this is why you should do nothing else but start your own business.
I'm gonna
And then you'll wind up just as
stand
successful
up in
as
front-
us.
I'm gonna light a joint right away and be like, "This is how it's done, guys." No, I'm not gonna do that.
Please be sober
I'm not gonna do that.
or get pulled over.
We do need to set up a meeting. We'll talk after with this guy because
Okay.
I want to know the nature of this.
Yeah, of course.
this
It's going to be fun.
presentation.
It's going to be fun. So for everybody who tuned in today, believe it or not, people actually did watch us, considering there are people out there that think that nobody watches us. Oddly
No,
enough,
we'll be all right.
we'll be fine. Chop Sports is on the move. We're excited. For Sturch, Gooch, Anthony, A5 now. This is the 5th fucking Anthony we got in this building. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the Philadelphia Eagles. Goodbye. Now you go up to there, and this is where you do it for him. He knows what he's doing. And broadcast.